Okay, hello everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm going to try and make this an extremely short video. Please pay attention very closely. There's going to probably be very brief, sudden interruptions in my speech. I apologize for that ahead of time. Trust me, there's reasons for it. This is going to be a very brief, preliminary introduction, information video that will be connected to my lawyer video series videos that's still in the making. Please be patient with this account, folks, please. And please stay with it. Now, folks, what I'm about ready to show you, you need to understand, first and foremost, that what you're going to be shown in this video is only a brief presentation and a brief explanation concerning one thing that is extremely suspected to be currently in a non-consensual implanted, hold on one second, pardon me please, targeted individual. Targeted individuals is a term that describes gang stalking torture victims. Okay? Now, so what you're going to be shown, again, is going to be brief in its totality. What I'm going to be showing you, the subject matter itself is massive. So what's going to be detailed in this video is going to be very limited. Please stay with this account. Trust me, folks. This video is being made for several reasons. And once you see the more in-depth videos, you might say to yourself, well, why the hell did she even make a very small information video? Trust me, there's reason for it. There's reasons for it. Just trust me. Oh, absolutely, just trust me. So let me dive right into some meat and potatoes here. Now, what I'm going to first show you is going to be, I got to turn around here, so bear with me a second. Oh my God, you would not believe the crimes I'm enduring. You just would not believe it. Demonic beyond mathematical measure. So what I'm going to do right now, bear with me 2 seconds, is I'm going to bring you to, as soon as the pictures come up, and I wonder if they're not going to, hold on 1 second. Okay, now, one of the biggest crimes that is occurring within the extreme criminal program that is known as gang stalking is non-consensual human experimentation. Okay? Now, if you say to yourself, this isn't really a subject matter that interests me, so I'm out of here, trust me when I say, folks, trust me, stay with me, because what you're going to see in this video series is going to blow your mind. Now, remember what I said, there's going to be some brief explanations, and I'm not going to go into long details concerning why these, there's going to be some brief interruptions. Burping, trying to catch my breath, and I don't mean to be rude by burping. Again, just stay with this account. You'll understand things over time. So let me get into some of the meat and potatoes. I'm going to show you something right here. Okay? All right, take a look at this. And I'll show you the scientific article title it came from, so you can research that as well. Okay? So what do you think you're seeing here? Now I want you to pay very close attention to what is in the lower right abdominal area, and how that is, I forgot its exact name, but you'll know what its name is when you go into the scientific article. Okay, so it's the controller device. It's the stimulator controller device, and you should pay attention to the leads that come from it and what they're going to concerning the thigh. Okay, you should also know it's extremely now the scientific article, which is right here. This is what you want to Google to find it. And there might be several articles related to this one specific. In other words, there might be several websites dedicated to this article. So I would suggest you first find the one that's longest, the biggest one you can find, especially the one that's got the additional links towards the bottom. And those links are numbered. And throughout the article, it's going to be referring to numbered links. That's why I'm referring you to the one that's got the most amount of information in it. Okay, now hold on a second. You're going to see pictures too, and that includes color pictures. Everything is relevant. Now, I openly admit to you right off the bat that this is a scientific article, so quite a bit of it is going to be a little bit hard for you to at least initially understand. But trust me, there's enough explanations, detailed explanations and information in it for you to start to get in real time, layman's understanding. And then when you have to research like a medical description, all you got to do is research it. Probably take you less than 10 minutes per per term, per terminology, and then the brain will organize it and it will fold it back onto that layman's knowledge. Okay? Trust me. Okay? And I'm sorry I keep saying that. It's just the way I talk. Okay? So, this is the article right here. Okay? I gotta zoom back in on it. Okay? That's it right there. And that's what this picture is from. Okay? Alright? So, let me minimize that. And now I'm going to bring you to, I'm going to bring you to this right here. Okay. This is some additional pictures from that article. Okay. This one right here has to do with the part of the article that talks about certain leads that are attached to cuff electrodes. Now, the leads in the article, you're going to see appear to be connected. Well, they are. They're connected from the outside of the skin, but what's inside the skin that they're connected to are what is known as CUFF cuff electrodes that are literally placed in the nerves. Okay? Now, do you see these types of red burn marks right next to the leads that are going into it? Because this is a research paper. But when you hear what's going to be massively detailed, thoroughly massively detailed in the video series that this video will be connected to, you will see what's going on concerning what's extremely suspected to be in a specific gang stalking victim that I'm personally aware of. Okay? So, as you can see here from the research paper, this is showing what a research subject who's being implanted with the cuff electrodes and the leads that are interfacing with those cuff electrodes. Because I think what they're doing is just basically taking physiological signals. They're monitoring the electrophysiological signals from the nerves. Okay. So these are the leads that send that signal data to the computer. But what you want to notate is the burns. You see those burns right there? Now look at their size, their color. Let me zoom in on that so you can see it as clear as possible. And you should also notice the white little specks around the skin as well. Okay? I got many videos and photos showing these types of white specks in numerous areas of my body. Absolutely. It's not dry skin, folks. Well, let me just put it to you this way. You might think it's dry skin. Okay? Now, so notate these small circular red burn marks. Okay? Now, this is from the scientific article. Okay? That's why you want to find the one that shows you this picture in color, while also being in the same one that shows you the aforementioned links that would be at the bottom, which are referenced to throughout the article by number. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the back of my knee. The back of my left knee. Do you honestly think that that's a coincidence? Okay? Do you see any white marks anywhere around the back of my knee too? Look at that. They're identical. Look at that. The white marks are identical. Okay? The red marks are identical. These are burn marks. These are actually third-degree burns. Okay? Alright? And then here's another picture that is within the article as well, concerning where they're putting some of this stuff and so on and so forth. Now, so let's go now back to this article, because when you go into this article right here, you're going to see, okay, this right here, picturing back on that. Okay? Now, I want you to imagine you being a gang stalking torture victim who experiences extreme electrical stimulation around the abdominal area while feeling contractions, heat, and electrical stimulation along this part of the pelvic area, where you see these two things right here, and absolute electrical stimulation all throughout this part of the thigh, including in the back, and pulses right at the end where the leads connect to the nerves. So imagine you being a target individual experiencing what I just stated in all these areas, while also being a targeted individual who's got these types of burns okay, on the inside of their knee. Okay, and cross-referencing those burns, okay, to these burns, same victim, concerning my descriptions that I stated just a second ago. The target has, there you see it from the research paper. Here you see it from behind my knee. Okay? And I am personally aware of a gang stalking target who's experiencing extreme painful electrical stimulation in this abdominal area here, 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 all throughout the thigh, okay? And at the end where these connector leads are placed at, down towards the bottom of the thigh. Electrical pulses, electrical stimulation throughout the thigh, electrical stimulation on the inside of the knee, where those burns I just showed you are at. Extremely painful stimulation up in here and in these two pelvic area parts where you see these lead connectors here. Now, do you really believe that's an accident? I think you got better chance at winning 3 lotteries playing random numbers in 7 days. Okay? Now, let's go to something else here. I'm going to show you something. I'm aware of the same victim who's had extreme bladder and bowel stimulation. And I'm talking about extreme. For instance, this one particular target had to go number 2 5 times yesterday morning within a 2-hour period while experiencing extreme pelvic electrical stimulation. 5 times had to go number 2 in the morning. Okay. Number 1 is urine, number 2 is poop. Okay? 5 times in an hour and a half. And what do you see here? Okay? Now, what else do you see in this article? Let's scroll, baby cakes and munchkin butts. What do you think you're gonna see? Oh, wait a minute. What do you think you might see? What do you think you might see? Let me just kind of take this. What do you think you might see? What do you think you might see? The same victim that I'm referring to also has absolutely, on multiple dates, felt electrical stimulation right at these various spots right here, which would be the back of the thigh. And the same target has got audio files and videos showing burns a little bit above that spot right there on the back. Okay? And what I'm telling you right now is the pure, thorough, absolute, complete, total truth. And what do you see here? Okay? Now, what you got to understand about the 6 satanic filth. Now, actually, this right here appears to be the back. Okay, so this is the back part. The same victim feels electrical stimulation and has got photos of burns at their tailbone, which would be right here, and in their lower back. And the same victim has also had third-degree burns on their left buttock, their right buttock, and pulses at both of these places. So basically what the whores are doing is implanting front and back. Now, this was all done to one victim. This is part of what was done to one victim, okay, as a direct result of the satanic filth. These apps, I can't stand these assholes. I hate them more than I can describe. Oh, absolutely, I hate their fucking guts. Oh, absolutely. All right, now, hold on. Now, when you bring this information up, excuse me, when you bring this information up, you got to understand something. Let me kind of like tie off this video with this following statement. When you read these types of scientific articles, you're going to be presented with information from a scientific approach of research for helping people who have different types of paralysis for whatever reason. You should also know that research papers by their dates can be faked, and you should also know that well, let me just put it to you this way. There's other things that I know, okay, concerning let me just put it to you this way. Something can be created, like, say, in 1980, and it won't be patented until 2010. Okay? All right? Oh, absolutely. So you should also know that when a doctor or a research group does something, that research institution can be working privately, including through grants, whether they know it or not, with defense contractors. Okay, now, if you don't know anything about gang stalking, if you don't know anything about the non-consensual human experimentation connected to gang stalking crimes, if you don't know anything at all that I've talked about in this video, it's understandable that you're going to have holes, gaps in your understanding. Like, why would you think, most people don't know that the NIH, the National Institute of Health, gives grants to universities, hospitals, research groups, okay, concerning certain fields of study. And those doctors and those research groups, they do the research. Now, how much of that information is then owned by the NIH and or expanded upon by the NIH is a whole nother video series. Absolutely. DARPA is also intimately, heavily exposed online by extremely educated, intelligent gang stalking targets as being one of the very, very, very suspected parts of the military, okay, that is involved in a lot of the non-consensual human experimentation projects occurring to gang stalking victims, as well as the BRAIN Initiative and much more. Now, folks, the average citizen can't even fight a parking ticket against your local police. How well do you think that you're going to be able to fight intelligence agencies, the military, the DOD, okay, their intimate, secret, colluding partnership when it comes to non-consensual human experimentation with research groups, universities, and hospitals, including university hospitals? Your chances are like 0.0000001, okay, to a trillion, because they protect themselves. Now, I want you to know that when you do thorough research, and I mean thorough research into this, okay, this is not the only thing that's massively suspected to be in the same victim that I'm referring to, that I'm personally aware of. Now, I want to tell you something about these demonic bastards who host this crime. They will not only use a victim for things like this, because there's a lot of sensory nodes and there's a lot of ways that these demonic bastards who would put something like this in a completely innocent person, totally innocent person, person's not involved in any type of crime or social deviant behavior whatsoever, just your everyday average person, okay? Completely innocent person sold into this program by a bunch of filthy demonic whores, okay? Absolutely. Now, but what you need to understand is that most of this these implanted devices and all their connected, in everything, everything that encompasses the integrated system that they put in the victim, is they can remotely interface with it because of sensor nodes, antennas, transmitters, and just basically because of the way the device is made, okay? Which means they can harvest your electrophysiological signals from you remotely. They can stimulate neuronal activity dedicated to limb movement. They can contract muscles to make you fall, which is also already reported online as occurring to gang stalking targets. And they can then also use these implants to basically just torture you to death, especially if any of these implants were used for human trafficking, sexual labor, medical racketeering schemes, insurance fraud schemes, and much more, because there's other related crime motivations connected to the same type of implantation. And the vile animals who did this to this victim know the victim is telling the complete, thorough, pure, absolute truth. They know it, okay? Because there's no way anything like this concerning all crimes that they've done to the victim through these types of things, all crimes, putting them in the victim, using them for human trafficking, slavery, okay, using them for non-consensual human experimentation, using them to torture the victim's body so the body becomes immobile, so the victim can't stay independent, so they can get a hold of the victim and use them for racketeering schemes, insurance fraud schemes, and other major crimes for the rest of the target's life, because the target can no longer take care of themselves. Illegal probate control schemes. Okay? So they will use the victim every way imaginable and unimaginable through non-consensual implantation. And one type of set of implants can absolutely be used for 10 or more crimes. So they're literally making hundreds of thousands of dollars just off of one fucking victim, while torturing that victim into disability and then to death, while achieving other crime motivations in between and before. Okay? Now, I know you can't see how all of this can be done with what I've showed you so far. I'm aware of that completely and totally. But what you also keep in mind is that our other implants working in conjunction with these types of implants. And I'll give you a small hint about this. Let me go back to something else. Now, these types of implants can also be intentionally sent huge amounts of electricity in order to, and they already know, by the way, even in regular interface, they can cause muscle mass to be lost, including very fast. So a well thick muscular thigh can be made into a matchstick in less than 8 months. 8, 9, 12 months. Okay, so we're talking about a huge muscular thigh, front and back, and including above the knee. Okay, can be made into a skinny matchstick, where the leg looks like a matchstick in less than a year and a half. And they will do it intentionally, while controlling these types of implants for stage falls. So if you think to yourself, I don't see how they can do all that with just this. Well, they can do a very significant amount of it with this. So what I'm going to do is just give you a very fast taste of some other things. Are they in play with the same victim? In other words, are they also in the same victim? So let's go up here. What do you see here? Look at that. Now these would be internal prosthetics for the arm. Oh, hold on. Okay. Behind the ears, side of the neck, on the shoulder, down into the shoulder, all the way down into the arm, chest, abdomen. We're talking about both arms too. So let me minimize this, bring something else up so you can see in a clear picture. I believe it's still on my memory card. Bear with me. Actually, I gotta let you go here in a second because I don't want the batteries of these phones to start getting depleted. Just bear with me a second, please. Yeah, if I take the memory card out, trust me, you'll see a lot more of the arm stuff when I make the video series, and I'll probably make that video. I'll start that video series here in the next couple of days. Okay, let me see what we got here. Yeah, I don't think it's in this one because what I did was I took this type of memory stick here and I downloaded all the audio, excuse me, I downloaded all the screenshots and everything. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Until I can make that, what I'll do is go back to this and I'll show you the title of the scientific article. Pardon me, please, that this one came from. Okay? So going back to here, here's the title of that article so you know how to find it. Let me put it in landscape. Okay. And then, so there's the title of it right there. Now, this same article right here, this scientific article right here, is also published in many different, websites on the internet. So you definitely want to, when you bring it up, you want to go into the one that shows you the most, including ones that got the attached article links at the bottom. And then when you got to read it because I forgot the exact part. When you start seeing this, when you see this in the article, what you want to do is, let me go back and zoom in on that. What you want to do when you see this in the article is you want to scroll within a paragraph or two, either directly above it or below it, in order to come up with a link that will allow you to download this, and then the one that goes into the opposite arm, and then there's two other pictures. Okay, so then you can zoom in on it and really see it. Okay, so imagine if a third party can control both your arms, both your legs, and much more. Now, I want you to ask yourself, in all honesty, as a mature adult, You have to be a mature adult that wants to know the truth. Okay? You ask yourself, how do you think you would feel if a bunch of mass murdering, raping whores did this to you and then used them to exploit you, even set you up for a rape? And I know how I'm totally aware how you can see that right now. I just want you to know that the overall crime that's been perpetrated against this target, who is responsible for thousands of crimes this target has endured, and now they're literally torturing the victim into disability, physical disability, then it will probably lead to death and exploitation in between, while thousands of other crimes have already happened to this same victim as a result of how long the victim has been targeted. And I got to say things carefully. Does any of that victimization have to do with any implants that are in that victim? Let me tell you something about these sick bile whores. They don't give two shits about nobody, folks. They don't care about nobody. The only people they care about are themselves, power, control, money, and protection of it all. It's all they fucking care about. Okay? So you can imagine to yourself, so imagine you having this type of thing in both arms while they got shit in the neck, shoulder, neck, and behind the ear, then the stuff in both legs, front and back, plus bladder and bowel control. Then imagine having shit in you in your ankles, feet, toes. Okay, you can see here that they can control you all the way down. Well, I think this one shows it. It doesn't show enough of it. These go all the way down into the wrist, the hands, and the fingers. They got stuff in the abdomen here connected to this. Then I want you to imagine them having the ability to control turning your head involuntarily, and implants in the ears, eyes, nose, mouth, and brain. Now that's a hell of a lot to chew on, folks. But you can go to Google and type in at Google neuroprosthetics, brain implants. Okay, prosthetic implants that can, okay, turn your head. Okay, it's got to do with locomotion. Absolutely, locomotion. Okay. And then when you see the video series, you'll see me show you massive additional stuff that will help you see things about implants in the spine, back of the head, back of the neck, ears, eyes, and much more. So I want you to think to yourself, imagine all of that happening to you with what I've showed you. And the whores know they've done it to you, and they know what they were able to accomplish as a result of them, these types of things being remotely interfaced with. Imagine being set up for human trafficking, staged brutal physical attacks, massive exploitation for insurance fraud purposes, and much more. Okay, and thousands of other crimes that have occurred through one or more, any number of these types of implants that I've discussed in this video. They don't allow doctors and hospitals to allow you to prove they're there. You can Google hospitals and doctors and falsifying medical records and test results to gang stalking. So the whores, come on, folks. We're literally living in a society where these sick bitch demonic filth that hosts this crime can do this to any person they want and walk away scot-free. Scot-free. Okay? Basically what they're doing is they're stealing not only you away from you, okay, because if you can control the brain's functions, if you can control the what is seen through the eyes, if you can control what the victim hears, if you can control the victim's head movement, if you can control their limbs, if you can control their actions, and much more, then they've literally stolen you, the essence of you, who you are. And in the midst of that, they subject you to extreme brutal psychological operations and extreme brutal physical and biological torture. All for the sake of profit and control to continue for the profit. Now, I know one thing. If something like this ever happened to me and I was ever in a position to prove it, I would never let those filthy whores go until I found out who they were and hunt them down in court for the rest of my life. And any demonic filth that helped protect them on any and all dates or played any role in any subsequent gang stalking crimes that allowed that in turn, as a result of those crimes created effects The target was suffered to live through those effects, and as a result, every day, the perpetrators were able to continue the torture as a direct result. Look, when you have, because this crime is like an octopus. So when you have, if you can take your hand and hold it in front of you, and the back of your hand and the palm of your hand is the crime itself, the program itself. And then you look at each finger and you say, okay, the thumb is the police, the index finger is the hospitals, the middle finger is the businesses and the libraries and the transportation services. Now this is referring to the community-based gang stalking, all right? And then the fourth finger is connected to the corruption of the courts. Okay, and then I guess you could say the fifth fingers would be the doctors and the falsified test results and social services and all the other lying, demonic, colluding, tentacle bastards that allow this program to walk. So you take 2 of those out of the 5, and you use 2 of those to do things against the victim. As a result of what they do, that creates negative effects on the victim's schedule, the victim themselves, including financially. Okay? And while the victim is trying to rise above those effects, the torture is still taking place every second, every day, in between, just while you're trying to crawl out of what just happened to you 2 days ago, while you're already trapped in extreme destitution that the crime puts you in. So in other words, this crime is massive. It commits thousands of crimes against one gang stalking victim per year. Per year. And they just don't give a shit because they know a healthy, intelligent, able-bodied person is a threat to them. Especially if that victim has got evidence. And they know the victim does. So if they can keep the body in an extremely reduced state while using neural weapons on the mind, gang stalking crimes, well, they're just sitting back and laughing to themselves and saying, hey, we got Joe trapped in isolation of torture every single day and night. We ain't got nothing to worry about. That is literally their fucking mentality. So in closing, go to Google and research at Google how many gang stalking victims are saying they're being tortured in their own homes across America. I thank you for listening. Stay with this video series. This is an information video dedicated to this tweet link right here. This will be a lawyer video series video. And this tweet link right here begins, it's a tweet chain, begins with this one here. Okay? Alright? Everybody trust me. Stay with this account.